Care in Crisis is a podcast series created to give where people on the front line of the virus pandemic a voice to share their own personal stories. Told in an informal and unpolished interview format, the series is hosted by Vivienne Cannan on her AHA Africa charitable platform in an effort to raise awareness about the work done by these organizations. Now, Vivienne is joining me now via Skype to tell us more about this initiative that aims to share messages of upliftment and encouragement. Vivienne, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
What is the Care in Crisis podcast series and why was it important to you to put it together?
So the Care in Crisis podcast series came about very quickly. I've never done podcasts before, but what happened was I saw people posting on social media lots of stories of upliftment and lots of donation requests from charities and groups. So I decided to create this podcast platform where people from the front line could come and share with me, tell their stories, and most importantly, tell us what they need from us as the community most at this time. And there's just wonderful stories. There's somebody, Lisa Curry, who's a woman that's creating educational pictures that are going into all the rural and informal settlements to help people to learn about COVID and how to stay safe. There's another great story, which is Debbie Weber, who's an attorney in Cape Town in Blouberg. She's an expert in debt, and she's actually offering free online help and counseling on debt with regards to people financially struggling due to COVID. So it was just something that I just felt I could put together, I could help raise awareness. And even though I'm in lockdown, it's my way of giving back to the community at this time.
And there's a whole lot of different personal and real stories out there, Vivienne, but how do you go about selecting which ones to tell?
So it really came to me when I looked on the social media group and I saw the groups like the Lakeside Can group who were working very closely together with Lorraine Morocco, who's a social worker on the area of Vryheid. So I just approached them. There's also, not to forget, the very important animal charities, the Grabo Animal Welfare Society, who are doing incredible work but in desperate need to feed people's dogs because people are really struggling to feed themselves right now. So the stories have really started to come to me, and really they're just growing. And I think as we go through this pandemic, there's just going to be more. And as many stories as I can tell, I'm willing to tell.
And take us through the format of this series, Vivienne. I've mentioned that it's not really a formal interview conversation. So how is it structured?
Okay, so it definitely has a structure. And when I say it's informal, I'm not media trained and neither are the people that come and share. These are real people. These are the heroes on the front line of the pandemic. So these are people that aren't polished. They're not media trained, but they come in and they're sharing their heart stories. And these are people that are risking their lives daily for us and also for the animals. So the format is structured as in who were they before the pandemic, what has the pandemic meant to them, and then basically, what people can do to help. And, there's also other stories. One I really want to get in is a very uplifting one. Avocado Vision is working right now together with the government. They actually already, whilst we're in the heart of the pandemic, they're already looking at initiatives to create jobs for within the green sector when we come out of the COVID pandemic. So there's stories that I hope uplift and inspire. And that's really the intention behind AHA Africa, is to, first of all, raise awareness that people who want to do something and want to find ways of giving back can do that. And then also just to create awareness.
And in addition to these interviews, Vivienne, there are also interviews with those that are giving back to the communities during these difficult times, isn't it?
Yes, so those are the people like Lisa Curry I've mentioned, who's doing amazing work. She's reaching so many people by way of her memes. They literally go through WhatsApp to the people on the ground in the informal settlements and in the rural areas, and they're helping to keep people safe. They're helping to train people and to educate them around COVID. So there are people, and people like Lita are encouraging other people to look within their skill set and to see what they've got by way of their work or within their creativity, and maybe just looking at little ways that they can give back. Because I think what AHA is showing me, I feel so humbled by this platform because of the stories, and really there's many heroes that are out in our nation at the moment. But I think that there's just such an opportunity for people just to give back in the smallest way. And if we do it collectively, we will make a big difference.
And what are you hoping these stories would ultimately do for these communities after the podcast?
So if I can just ask people to go to the platform ahaafrica.com, and that's spelled AHA Africa.com. All the podcasts are there, and my hope is that people will go and they'll hear what's happening on the front line. They'll hear some of the desperate pleas for help. And also, as this pandemic is progressing, what we are finding is the needs on the front line change every day. So for instance, the Lakeside Clan group that has been working together with Lorraine Morco within the Vrygrond area in the Western Cape. It's a 1 square kilometre area that's looking after 80,000 vulnerable people, and 32,000 of those are children. And every day their needs are changing. So as things are now getting worse within the Cape area and our statistics are going up, they can no longer queue at the feeding stations, and now they're having to get creative and they're having to find ways to get the food to the hungry. So as the pandemic goes on, my hope is that people will come, it will help to raise awareness, and even though we're in lockdown, there are many ways that we can help. And again, I just really want to reiterate, it is also for our animals as well as our people. One of my aha moments, I have discovered that, you know, even though people might be living in poorer communities, they love their animals. And it's desperately sad that at this stage, they cannot feed their animals. So if people come to ahaafrica.com, they don't even have to listen to the podcast. There's even banking details. They can make immediate donations because the money is running out quickly. And these are the desperate appeals that people will find on this platform.
All right, Vivienne, thank you so much for giving us a totally different and new dynamic into how we look, how we should deal with the coronavirus. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right, joining us via Skype from Cape Town, that was Vivienne Cannan, and she's been speaking to us about her Care in Crisis podcast series that she hosts to spread positive messages through her AHA Africa digital platform. We'll take a quick break and we'll have more in a moment. This is Morning Live.